they make it look a lot more like JavaScript, so that kind of more people that don't care about programming language could use OCaml to write apps, to write web apps, to write all sorts of stuff. And so I ran with it and had a little bit of fun building a bunch of stuff in ReasonML. And I want to show you like a little game that I built. So what we wanted is to have like graphics stuff. So I built a little rendering engine that simply draws images. And so all this that you see here are just images. Every character is an image. It's a little, like an atlas, big image with every character pre-rendered. And then we place them on the screen. It's kind of a dumb way to render text. This background, like this fake journal, is an image. And all this framework does is it like renders images. So we had a little fun like building this. We built this over like a day and a half over like a game jam. Don't mind the bad graphics. The goal was to build something that was really fast. Okay, there's a couple cool things that I'm excited to show you. So the way we built this framework is that it kind of works kind of like React, where you just have one render function, except it's all imperative. So in your render, instead of like returning the views, you just kind of say like, draw this, draw that. Like you can see here, draw asset. So this is a random line in the file. I don't remember this, it's like 5 years ago. But this draw asset literally immediately draws. It kind of queues it up, but it just says like, hey, draw this like chick image. And then the framework takes care of like batching and making it fast so that it runs at 60 FPS or whatever. One of the cool aspects of this was that we could do hot reloading. So one thing that you want when you build interfaces is like you want to be able to change things. So let me change these chicks. Yeah, it's a little bit bloody. I also have blood puddles. Okay, it's a horror game. If you play through it, a monster comes around eventually and like kills everybody. But here it was super useful. Like while we were developing this game, we would like have the game running. The game state is the time keeps ticking and it's consistent. Everything stays around at the same spot. So like for example, think of egg. So there's an egg somewhere, and like one of them, it's like a farming simulator that turns horror game. But you have an egg, and so here's a giant switch. This is how I code. It's very simple. if you have nothing in your hand and you face an egg, show the string pick up egg, and then I can prove that it's like live. If I just save or like live. And what's cool is there's no magic. I didn't have to change anything. The game itself knows to reload itself. And I can pick up the egg and sell it for money. So what was cool about this project for me was to learn how GL works. And then implementing, what we did was we built a build system that could compile the Reason code to native, but then it could also compile to JavaScript. So we could open this in a web browser and have the exact same game, and we could share it with our friends. So for the game jam, it was super useful. We would develop here in native, so this is running native code with hot reloading, and then we would share it to the people that were going to play the game and judge us and stuff like that. So that's it. You should try it. It's called Reprocessing. That's the framework. It kind of still works. It's a little old at this point, so I don't know if you npm install if it's actually going to work. But you can see here, for example, in the docs, we have these like live coding. So the exact same framework that I wrote once runs in the web here and in the docs inline. So this code that you see is basically the building blocks of the game, except the game is like 4,000 lines of this stuff. But this is kind of what I was like explaining is like these draw calls are immediate. I can make it, oops, I don't get to save. Right, let me swap like background red and then hit play, and this like runs a compiler that we compile to JavaScript so that the compiler can run in the browser, and then it compiles this program and then injects it and runs it. So that's it, just a little, like a cool little project that we built to learn GL and programming languages and build systems.